Reading through the Bible in a year, October 25th, 2 Kings chapter 6, 1 Timothy chapter 3, Daniel 10, and Psalm 119, verses 1 through 24. Now the sons of the prophets said to Elisha, Behold now, the place before you where you are living is too limited for us. Please, let us go to the Jordan, and each of us take from there a beam, and let us make a place for ourselves where we may live. So he said, Go. Then one said, Please be willing to go with your servants. And he answered, I shall go. So he went with them, and they came to the Jordan, and they cut down trees. But as one was felling a beam, the axe head fell into the water. And he cried out and said, Alas, my master, for it was borrowed. The man of God said, Where did it fall? When he showed him the place, he cut off a stick and threw it in there, and made the iron float. He said, Take it up for yourself. So he put out his hand and took it. Now the king of Aram was warring against Israel, and he counseled with his servants, saying, Such and such a place shall be my camp. The man of God sent word to the king of Israel, saying, Beware that you do not pass this place, for the Arameans are coming down there. So the king of Israel sent to the place about which the man of God had told him. Thus he warned him, so that he guarded himself there more than once or twice. Now the heart of the king of Aram was enraged over this thing, and he called his servants and said to them, Will you tell me which of us is for the king of Israel? Saying, Which of you guys is a spy? One of his servants said, No, my lord, O king, but Elisha, the prophet who is in Israel. He tells the king of the words that you speak in your bedroom. So he said, Go and see where he is, that I may send and take him. And he was told him, saying, Behold, he is in Dothan. He sent horses and chariots and a great army there, and they came by night and surrounded the city. Now when the attendant of the man of God had risen early and gone out, behold, an army with horses and chariots was circling the city, and his servant said to him, Alas, my master, what shall we do? So he answered, Do not fear, for those who are with us are more than more than those who are with them. Then Elisha prayed and said, Yahweh, I pray, open his eyes so that he may see. And Yahweh opened the servant's eyes, and he saw. And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. When they came down to him, Elisha prayed to Yahweh and said, Strike this people with blindness, I pray. So he struck them with blindness, according to the word of Elisha. Then Elisha said to them, This is not the way, nor is this the city. Follow me, and I will bring you to the man whom you seek. And he brought them to Samaria. When they had come into Samaria, Elisha said, O Yahweh, open the eyes of these men that they may see. So Yahweh opened their eyes, and they saw. And behold, they were in the midst of Samaria. Then the king of Israel, when he saw them, said to Elisha, My father, shall I kill them? Shall I kill them? He answered, No, you shall not kill them. Would you kill those who have been taken captive with the sword and with your bow? Set bread and water before them, that they may eat and drink and go to their master. So he prepared a great feast for them. When they had eaten and drunk, he sent them away. And they went to their master. And the marauding bands of the Arameans did not come again into the land of Israel. I love that story. Verse 24, Now it came about after this that Ben-Hadad, the king of Aram, gathered all his army and went up and besieged Samaria. And it was there was a great famine in Samaria. And behold, they besieged it, until a donkey's head was sold for 80 shekels of silver, and a fourth of a cob of dove's dung for 5 shekels of silver. And the king of Israel, as he was passing by on the wall, a woman cried out to him, saying, Help, my lord, O king. He said, If Yahweh doesn't help you, from where shall I help you? From the threshing floor, from the winepress? And the king said to her, What is the matter with you? And she answered, This woman said to me, Give me your son that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son and ate him. And I said to her on the next day, Give your son that we may eat him, but she has hidden her son. When the king heard the words of the woman, he tore his clothing. Now he was passing by on the wall, and the people looked, and behold, He had sackcloth on his body. Then he said, "May God do so to me and more also, if the head of Elisha, the son of Shaphat, remains on him today." Again, they were thinking that Elisha was the one who had the power to tell God what to do, simply doing what God had told him. Now Elisha was sitting in his house, and elders were sitting with him. And the king sent a man from his presence. But before the messenger came to him, he said to the elders, "Do you see how this son of a murderer has sent to take away my head? Look, when the messenger comes, shut the door, and hold the door shut against him. Is not the sound of his master's feet behind him?" While he was still talking with them, behold, the messenger came to him and said, "Behold, this evil is from Yahweh. Why should I wait for Yahweh any longer?" Here we go. Moving on to 1 Timothy chapter 3. Paul continues, "It is a trustworthy statement. If any man aspires to the office of overseer," what we know as elder, "it is a fine work he desires to do. An overseer," again, every time you read the word overseer, you can read the word elder. "An elder then must be above reproach, the husband of one wife, temperate, prudent, respectable, hospitable, able to teach, not addicted to wine or pugnacious, but gentle, peaceable, free from the love of money. He must be one who manages his own household well, keeping his children under control with all dignity. But if a man does not know how to manage his own household, how will he take care of the church of God?" And not a new convert. I've seen so many churches stumble and in some cases completely get destroyed because they elevated people to the role of deacon or elder who were brand new baby Christians, who hadn't even yet really discovered or understood their own theology. They were just on fire for God, and they got sent off to join different churches or to run ministries and so forth. Not a good idea. Back to verse 6, "And not a new convert, so that he will not become conceited and fall into the condemnation incurred by the devil. And he must have a good reputation with those outside the church, so that he will not fall into reproach and the snare of the devil. Deacons likewise must be men of dignity, not double-tongued or addicted to much wine or fond of sordid gain, but holding to the mystery of the faith with a clear conscience. These men must also first be tested. Then let them serve as deacons if they are beyond reproach. Women must likewise be dignified, not malicious gossips, but temperate, faithful in all things. Deacons must be husbands of only one wife." Now, some people have taken this to mean that if your wife dies, and you remarry, you are not qualified to be a deacon or an elder. Other people have taken it to mean if your wife cheats on you, or if you cheat on your wife before you were saved and have destroyed your marriage and gotten divorced because of that, you are forbidden from serving as an elder or a deacon. Now, it may very well be that your church holds to one of those things. I personally do not. The point here being made, in my view, is that, again, in this time and age, there were men who had multiple wives. It was a common thing. The reason why he should be, that he should have only one wife is simply because if he has more than one wife, it's going to take more time away from him, and he won't be able to serve the office of overseer, elder, or deacon well. Again, that's my view. Other churches may take it other directions, just telling you what I'm thinking. Back to verse 12. "Deacons must be the husband of only one wife, and good managers of their children and their own households." For those who have served well as deacons obtain for themselves a high standing and great confidence in the faith that is in Christ Jesus. I am writing these things to you, hoping to come to you before long. But in case I am delayed, I write to you so that you will know how one ought to conduct himself in the household of God, which is the church of the living God, the pillar and support of the truth. By common confession, great is the mystery of godliness. He who was revealed in the flesh was vindicated in the spirit, seen by angels, proclaimed among the nations, believed on in the world, and taken up in glory. All of that to say, if you are disqualified from being an elder, or disqualified from being a deacon, this does not mean that you do not have any sort of role that you can fulfill for God. It's not like God has simply said, well, he can't do this one thing, or he can't fulfill this one role, therefore he is garbage to me, and I'm not going to care about him at all. He may be saved, but let's throw him in a closet somewhere. No. There are plenty of things you can still do within your own community. In fact, there are a bunch of pastors who have gone on to really just shipwreck the ministry God has given them. But that doesn't mean that he can't yet save those people. There have even been good, well-known and respected Christian pastors who we all have known who have committed heinous acts. And surely they were to be removed from ministry, but that doesn't mean that they still can't teach in their local communities, that they can't help other people. They just can't be an elder. They can't be a pastor. They can't be a deacon. And certainly, you don't want them going on tour telling people about God when they themselves couldn't hold to it either. It's about, remember, the whole thing is about the name of God, right? Why does God save his people so often? Because of his name, because of his character, because of his reputation, right? Why is it that God saved the people from Egypt? That he pulled them out to make a name for himself. So why does he continue to defend and protect them when they are so rampantly rebelling against him to defend his name? So when we are Christian people, when we stumble and fall, which we will, if we stumble and fall in a spectacular way, like if I were to cheat publicly on my wife and be like, yeah, whatever, I should be removed from all public ministry. I should be removed from even doing this. But that doesn't mean that I'm no longer a Christian. If God affords me the opportunity to repent and to confess my sin publicly and to take a quiet role, no longer leading people, understanding fully the weight of what I have done and the weight of the public humiliation that I have brought not only on my family, but on my church and on those who love me. But worst of all, because of what I've done to the name of Christ, because of what I have done. If that's the case, I would not want to put myself back into a position where I would tell people, yeah, that happened, but you can still trust me. You can trust me now. Now I'm a good person. No. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on now to Daniel chapter 10. In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a message was revealed to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar. And the message was true and one of great conflict. And he understood the message and had an understanding of the vision. In those days, I, Daniel, had been mourning for 3 entire weeks. I did not eat any tasty food, nor did meat or wine enter my mouth, nor did I use any ointment at all until the entire 3 weeks were completed. On the 24th day of the first month, while I was by the bank of the great river, that is, the Tigris, I lifted my eyes and looked, and behold, there was a certain man dressed in linen, whose waist was girded with a belt of pure gold of Uphaz. His body was also like beryl. His face had the appearance of lightning. His eyes were like flaming torches, and his arms, his feet, like the gleam of polished bronze. And the sound of his words was like the sound of a tumult. Now I, Daniel, alone saw the vision, while the men who were with me did not see the vision. Nevertheless, a great dread fell on them, and they ran away to hide themselves. So I was left alone, and saw this great vision. Yet no strength was left in me, for my natural color turned to a deathly pallor. And I retained no strength. But I heard the sound of his words. As soon as I heard the sound of his words, I fell into a deep sleep on my face, with my face to the ground. And behold, a hand touched me, and set me trembling on my hands and knees. And he said to me, O Daniel, man of high esteem, understand the words that I am about to tell you, and stand upright. For I have now been sent to you. When he had spoken this word to me, I stood up, trembling. Then he said to me, Do not be afraid, Daniel. For from the first day that you set your heart on understanding this, and on humbling yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to your words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia was withstanding me for 21 days. Then behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I had been left there with the king of Persia, or with the kings of Persia. Now I have come to give you an understanding of what will happen to your people in the latter days, for the vision pertains to the days yet future. When he had spoken to me, according to these words, I turned my face toward the ground and became speechless. Now behold, one who resembled a human being was touching my lips. Then I opened my mouth and spoke, and said to him who was standing there before me, Lord, as a result of the vision, anguish has come upon me, and I have retained no strength. How can such a servant of my Lord talk with such as my Lord? As for me, there remains just now no strength in me, nor has any breath been left in me. Then this one with the human appearance touched me again and strengthened me. And he said, O man of high esteem, do not be afraid. Peace be with you. Take courage and be courageous. Now as soon as he spoke to me, I received strength and said, May my Lord speak, for you have strengthened me. Then he said, Do you understand why I came to you? But I shall now return to fight with the prince of Persia. So I am going forth, and behold, the prince of Greece is about to come. However, I will tell you what is inscribed in the writing of truth. Yet there is no one who stands firmly with me against these forces, except Michael, your prince. And we're going to go into the things that he's saying over the next 2 chapters. So that'll be tomorrow and the next day, God willing. Go ahead and move on to Psalm 119. As a brief introduction to Psalm 119, this is the longest psalm in all of the Psalms. It is, if I remember right, 180 verses long. But don't worry, we're going to read through it in little sections. In fact, the whole thing is broken up. So just like you're about to start off in some large project, you look at the whole thing, it's an impossible thing to do. So what you do is you break it down into its parts. And each of those parts get broken down into smaller parts. And you're like, well, I can't imagine doing this whole project I have to do. But I can at least prepare to paint the living room. Or maybe I can take out my tool and I can strip off the paint from the front door. That's a lot easier to do than looking at the whole project and realizing how much work is involved. So as we read through this one, we'll see that it's broken into sections, right? Now, each section is a section of 8 verses. call them stanzas because that's what they are. And each one has a letter of the Hebrew alphabet attached to it. This is to make it easy to memorize. Are we going to memorize it today? Probably not. But if you want to, you may. Let's go ahead and begin. Verse 1. Oh, and as we go through these, I'm going to read the name of the stanza that we're about to go through, and then I'll read the stanza itself. Beginning in the first one, Aleph. How blessed are those whose way is blameless, who walk in the law of Yahweh. How blessed are those who observe his testimonies, who seek him with all their heart. They also do no unrighteousness. They walk in his ways. You have ordained your precepts, that we should keep them diligently. Oh, that my ways may be established, to keep your statutes. Then I will not be ashamed when I look upon all your commandments. I shall give thanks to you with uprightness of heart. When I learn your righteous judgments, I shall keep your statutes. Do not forsake me utterly. Beth. A large section of notes here. I'm going to scroll through it so you have it available. It talks about Psalm 119. The reason why I'm pausing so we can scroll through it. I said it was large. Here we go. Verse 9. Beth. How can a young man keep his way pure? By keeping it according to your word. With all my heart I have sought you. Do not let me wander from your commandments. Your word I have treasured in my heart, that I may not sin against you. Blessed are you, O Yahweh. Teach me your statutes. With my lips I have told of all the ordinances of your mouth. I've rejoiced in the way of your testimonies, as much as in all riches. I will meditate on your precepts and regard your ways. I shall delight in your statutes. I shall not forget your word. Gimel. Deal bountifully with your servant, that I may live and keep your word. Open my eyes, that I may behold wonderful things from your law. I am a stranger in the earth. Do not hide your commandments from me. My soul is crushed with longing after your ordinances at all times. You rebuke the arrogant, the cursed, who wander from your commandments. Take away reproach and contempt from me, for I observe your testimonies. Even though the princes sit and talk against me, your servant meditates on your statutes. Your testimonies also are my delight. They are my counselors. That's it. That's all the reading and all of the notes for today. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Behold, word of the Lord.